Welcome back, everybody, and we're going to talk about the Northern Lights. You might have heard about this last night. They were seen from basically all over, from up in Canada all the way down to the Carolinas. We had a very strong solar storm last night, so let's talk about them. How do they form? Because it's one of the most wonderful things in the world to see the Northern Lights. Well, our planet Earth right here has what's called a magnetic field, and there are solar storms in space. There's actually weather that goes on in space. They're called solar storms. And in often cases, solar storms often start with a flare from the sun. And whenever you get a flare from the sun, it ultimately pushes itself onto planet Earth and can cause some disruptions to Earth's magnetic field. So ultimately, we get that solar flare, and the particles from the solar flare ultimately enters Earth's magnetic field. From there, they ultimately enter the Earth's atmosphere, where the field is ultimately the weakest. Remember, the actual Earth's atmosphere is actually thicker at the equator than it is at the two poles. So it's actually thinner once you get up on the poles. So that is ultimately what creates the Northern Lights. And ultimately, the solar storms can create these just amazing displays of color across the sky, those dancing lights. And, we can see them down here sometimes when we get very strong geomagnetic storms. We have to generally have about a G3, which is generally considered a moderate or strong solar storm, to get them down here. But again, you can see the different colors have to do with how far the ultimately where it is in the atmosphere. So again, you can see here the red auroras are upwards of about 200 200 kilometers up, and the most common ones are the red, blue, and green. But we can see some pink auroras as well, but not too common though. But again, like I said, we can see them sometimes down here. They're not very often, but again, unfortunately, the cloud cover didn't play well with us, so we didn't get a chance to see this last night. But again, if you ever get a chance to see the Northern Lights, now you know how they form. Karen, Amanda?